There is a plant with thick red stems crawling through the cracks in your driveway right now that contains more omega-3 fatty acids than salmon. Not per pound, per leaf. It has been feeding humans for over 4,000 years. It survived the rise and collapse of empires. And in 2022, scientists at Yale discovered it does something no other plant on Earth can do. Something they call the biological impossibility. The herbicide industry spends billions every year making sure you never learn its name. In 1050 BC, someone in northern Greece stored seeds in a sealed clay vessel. When archaeologists opened it more than 3,000 years later, they found thousands of tiny black seeds, each barely 1 millimeter wide. The same plant was still growing between the stones outside. By the 7th century BC, those seeds appear in the Samian Hieron, one of the most important sanctuaries in ancient Greece. By the 4th century BC, Theophrastus was writing cultivation instructions, telling farmers to sow it in April alongside their essential crops. This was not a weed. This was food. The Roman Empire cultivated it across 3 continents. Medieval Europeans ate it at nearly every meal. In 1288, Bonvesson de la Riva catalogued everything Milan consumed. This plant appeared not as a curiosity, but as a staple. Its name is Purslane, Portulaca oleracea, the plant we were taught to destroy. Sometime after 1492, Purslane crossed the ocean. But when European settlers documented it in Massachusetts in 1672, archaeologists later discovered it had already been growing in North America for 2,500 years. Seeds found in Ontario date to 1350 AD. Seeds in Kentucky date back to 800 BC. Native Americans had been cultivating it alongside sunflowers, squash, and quinopods as part of the Eastern agricultural complex. 2 civilizations, separated by an ocean, both decided this plant was essential. What did they know? In 1960, physiologist Ansel Keys launched the 7 countries study to understand why some populations suffered epidemic heart disease while others did not. He tracked over 12,700 men across 7 countries for 50 years. The results shattered existing nutritional theory. Farmers on the island of Crete consumed some of the highest fat diets in the world. Over 35% of daily calories from fat. According to the science of the time, they should have been dying of heart attacks. Instead, they had the lowest cardiovascular mortality rate Keys had ever recorded. Lower than Japan, lower than Finland, lower than anywhere. For decades, scientists credited olive oil and monounsaturated fats. Then in the 1980s, researchers revisited frozen blood samples from the original study. This time, they weren't looking for cholesterol. They were looking for omega-3 fatty acids. The Cretans had 3 times the omega-3 levels of the Dutch. Yet they weren't eating more fish. They were eating purslane every single day. In salads, in stews, sautéed with olive oil, fed to chickens and goats. The animals ate purslane. The people ate the animals. The entire food system ran on a plant growing wild in every field. In 1992, Dr. Artemis Simopoulos analyzed purslane's nutritional profile. The results looked impossible: 300 to 400 milligrams of alpha-linolenic acid per 100 grams of fresh leaves. 5 to 7 times more than spinach. 15 times more than iceberg lettuce. It was the richest vegetable source of omega-3 fatty acids ever recorded. But it got stranger. Land plants do not produce EPA, a marine omega-3 normally found only in fish and algae. Purslane does. Only trace amounts, but enough that scientists initially suspected contamination. There was none. Purslane also contains 7 times more vitamin E than spinach, 6 times more beta-carotene than carrots, and unusually high levels of melatonin, glutathione, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. It is one of the most nutrient-dense plants ever analyzed. Then came the Lyon Diet Heart Study. 605 heart attack survivors were split into 2 groups. One followed the standard low-fat cardiac diet. The other followed a Mediterranean diet rich in omega-3s, including purslane. After 5 years, the Mediterranean group had 70% fewer deaths from all causes. Not fewer heart attacks, fewer deaths. The study was stopped early because continuing the control diet became unethical. So why isn't this plant in every grocery store? Why do most people call it a weed? In 2022, Dr. Erica Edwards and her team at Yale published findings that rewrote plant biology itself. They studied purslane because it thrived in extreme drought while growing faster than almost any other plant. Most plants use C3 photosynthesis. Corn and sugarcane evolved C4 photosynthesis for heat tolerance. Desert plants like cacti use CAM photosynthesis to survive drought, but grow extremely slowly. Scientists knew purslane could use both C4 and CAM. They assumed it separated them into different tissues. They were wrong. Yale discovered both systems operating in the same cells, at different times. C4 during the day for rapid growth. CAM at night for water conservation. The outputs of one system fed directly into the other. No other plant on Earth does this. Purslane survives on 1/5 the water corn needs. It grows in saline soils that kill most crops. One plant produces over 200,000 seeds, each viable for up to 40 years. You can't kill it with drought. You can't kill it with heat. Solarization studies concluded that if purslane dies, everything had to go right. This is the plant the herbicide industry declared war on. The global herbicide market surpassed $40 billion in 2024. Companies sell chemicals specifically designed to eliminate purslane from lawns and farms. Not because it harms ecosystems, but because it cannot be controlled. You can't patent it. You can't sterilize its seeds. You can't force farmers to buy it every year. Meanwhile, every other omega-3 source is tightly controlled. Fish stocks are collapsing. Supplements cost $20 a bottle. Flax oil spoils. Farmed salmon requires massive infrastructure. Purslane grows for free, everywhere humans live. Half the world never forgot it. India calls it kulfa. Greece calls it glistra. Mexico sautés it with garlic and chilies. China has cultivated it for thousands of years. The other half was taught to poison it. Climate models show crops failing first in semi-arid regions, the exact conditions where purslane thrives. The solution is already here. Learn to identify it. Thick red stems. Smooth, succulent leaves. Tiny yellow flowers. Juicy when broken. Stop spraying it. Eat it. Because the most nutritious plants on Earth are often the ones we were taught to destroy. It's called purslane, and it's growing in your driveway right now.